Learning to think in English will make you more confident speaking English because you'll speak more naturally and fluently with less hesitation. I can already hear you saying, "But Emma, I need to think in my native language to translate. It's too hard. I don't know enough vocabulary to do it." But listen, that is the long, slow, and painful road to English fluency. When you do this, your English sounds unnatural because the sentence structure is different in your language. And it probably takes you a long time to say what you need to say because you're translating in your head as you speak. And we're going to learn a few strategies to help train your brain to think in English. So start with very simple vocabulary. When you're at home, think about the English word for things that you see around you. Shoes, flowers, desk, door. When you're on the train or you're driving to work, look out the window and think of the English word for the things that you see. Dog, factory, busy, windy, people. In fact, we're going to try it right now. So I want you to close your eyes, take a deep breath, because when you open your eyes, you're going to look around the room in front of you and think in English. Only in English, not in your native language. You're going to think in English of the words for everything that you see around you. Okay? So take that deep breath again and open your eyes and look around you. Thinking of the English words only. Great. Now, if that was easy, we can move on to the next level. If it was hard, that's okay too, but you'll need to practice every day doing the same thing in different places. It will become easier. You're training yourself to think in English. So you can do it at home or at work, on the train, or when you're at the cafe waiting for a friend. Then you can move on to simple sentences. For example, your hair's really long. Or, what's he eating for lunch? Or, that chair looks really uncomfortable. So do the same thing now. I want you to look around the room and make 3 simple sentences about what you see. Remember, no translating. You're not allowed to think in your native language at all. And if this is too difficult, go back to thinking of simple vocabulary words. Okay, so close your eyes, take a deep breath, and go. Okay, if that was easy, you can move to the next level, which is to plan your day in English, thinking in English. So when you wake up in the morning and you're still lying in bed, think about everything that you need to do that day in English. After I eat breakfast, I'll walk to the bus stop and I'll catch the bus to work. On the bus, I'm going to read my book. I'm meeting Matilda for lunch today, and I think we're going to get takeaway and eat it in the park. It's going to be such a nice day. So when thinking in English sentences and planning your day with simple sentences becomes easy, move on to thinking in conversation. Now this is great when you're sunbaking on the beach or hiking up a mountain, or you're in the shower getting ready for your day and you have some time alone in your head, so there's nothing to distract you. Now, thinking in conversation is really great because you're asking the questions, then thinking of answers to those same questions, and also ways to keep the conversation going. So it's really great conversation practice. Now, if talking to yourself in your head sounds strange or silly, well, I guess it probably is. Get one of your friends to help. And no, I don't mean ask one of your friends to have a shower with you. That would get maybe a little bit weird and awkward. You might not have the same relationship again after that. I just mean imagine that they are part of the conversation in your head. So when you're asking the questions, how would they answer? What would they think about the things you're saying? As you're walking down the street, in your head you could be saying, "It's so hot today, isn't it?" "Yeah, it is. I wish I brought my hat. That sun is scorching." It reminds me of a week that I spent in Dubai, actually. It was over 40 degrees Celsius. "Hey, are you sure that Sally's meeting us here? We've been waiting for so long now." Practicing this skill and doing it regularly will help train your brain to think in English. I recommend that you find a time in your day where you always do this, every day. So for example, every morning, after you brush your teeth, spend 5 minutes thinking in conversation or planning your day. Or it could be on your lunch break. Work on it every day and you will make it happen. You will train your brain to think in English so that when it comes to speaking in English, it flows naturally. Your words flow naturally because you're not translating in your head, you're thinking in English.
Thinking in English. Why? Because if you don't have to translate in your head anymore, you'll be able to join into the conversation faster and speak more naturally. And today we're going to train with visual flashcards. I recently made a video on thinking in English, and we had different steps that we could take. So today we're going to take one of those steps and we're going to go deep on it. We're going to train your mind on that one step, visual flashcards, naming objects, to train your mind to think in English, and probably you'll come across a word or two that you don't know, so we'll also work on building your vocabulary as we go. The strategy we're going to use today is naming objects in English, and we're going to use our visual flashcards. This is the first step in training your mind to think in English. We're going to take a picture, and you'll be prompted to name different things within that picture. You won't see the word written, you won't hear it in your own language, you'll just have the picture and your mind will recall the word in English. We're going to strengthen that ability to think in English by concentrating on it with simple objects. If you see an object and you're not sure of the word for it, don't worry. At the end, we're going to go over each word so that you can learn the vocabulary that you don't already know. We're going to build your vocabulary too. And because you learned it with a picture, you'll have a visual for it, and that's going to help you remember the word. If you already know all the words, great. Then this is just a practice in seeing something and recalling the word in English, training your mind. Later in this series, we're going to train you on sentences and engaging in conversation. Let's practice. Remember, you're going to see something, and you should name it in English in your head. You don't have to say it out loud, just think the word. Ask your mind to get into English mode and to let go of your native language. A lot of these will be words that you know, so you can see it, think it. See it, think it. Build that connection to thinking in English. What was that like for you? Was it easy? If so, that's great. That means you're already well on your way to having the habit of thinking in English. I'm going to see if I can stump you with some vocabulary later in this video. If that was hard for you, don't worry. Wherever you are, your starting point is okay, and the training starts now. Doing the training, is how you will get better. Let's review the words now. I'll say it out loud in case you don't know the word. You can hear a native speaker saying it. See the object, hear the word, repeat the word in your head, think it.
Fox, paw, snow.
Okay, so this is how it's going to go. We're going to train your mind to think in English. Let's go to the next picture. Were there any words there you didn't know? Don't worry, in the second half of this video, we're going to go over all the words. But for now, we're just going to go through a bunch of scenes in a row with objects for you to name. Some will be pretty easy and some words might be harder, a little bit less common. Don't get frustrated if you can't do all of these. That is your starting point. And by investing the time here now, you're taking your first step to improving. All right, let's do it. How are you doing? I'm checking in on you. Are you doing okay? We're halfway through. Let's keep it up. Are you still thinking in English? Great. Okay, let's review. There might have been some words in there that you don't know. Umbrella. Awning. That one's less common. Ivy. Did you know that plant? Chair. Bicycles. Or maybe you just said the singular, bicycle. Sunglasses. Arena. Or maybe you said stadium. Court or basketball court. Jumbotron, or maybe you just said screen. Crowd, or you could have said fans, or maybe just people. Astronaut, earth, pitcher, wine glass, teacup, lamp, neck, backpack, sky, or maybe you said clouds. Huddle, or maybe you said team. Huddle is the word we use when you put your arms around each other like this and gather in a circle. Ponytail, pizza, slice, olive, crust, rosemary. Did you know this herb? Beer, or maybe you said mug. Garlic, mushroom, tomato, pepper. Bouquet, bride, or maybe you said woman. Groom, or maybe you said man. It's their wedding day, so they'll often be referred to as bride and groom. Kilt, smile, or maybe you said teeth. Fingernails, or maybe you said nail polish. Lemon, this is also called a lemon wedge. Phone, or maybe you said picture. Pillow, ring, sparkler, dog, tail, leash, purse, jean jacket, classic, pants, shorts, path or walking path, grass,
shoe,
shoelace, or maybe you said bow, rock or stone, sole. This part of the shoe is the sole, and it's a homophone with the word S-O-U-L. They sound exactly the same. Okay, did you learn some new words? Were you able to keep your mind going in English? If this was easy for you, great. That means you're well on your way to having the habit of thinking in English, you're comfortable with it, and maybe your English vocabulary is quite large.
Thinking involves interactions between pathways that carry information from one part of your brain to the next. Simply put, there are triggers that lead to chain reactions in your brain. Let's look at how this works. When you are driving, you are presented with various signs, colors, and objects. But when you see the color green, it triggers a reaction in your brain. The green trigger makes you think of going forward. The red trigger, on the other hand, makes you think that you have to stop. In a study that was done regarding triggers and the brain, it was found that many fast food companies use the colors red and yellow. This is because red triggers appetite and hunger, while yellow, on the other hand, triggers the feelings of happiness and friendliness. For example, one of the largest global fast food chains is McDonald's. And what colors do they use for their logo? You got it, red and yellow. That is because McDonald's knows that red and yellow trigger people to think that they are hungry. But the truth is, all of our thoughts start with some type of trigger. Look at the next few images and see if you can think of the English word that matches them. How did you do? You probably got them all correct, right? You thought in English after seeing the proper triggers. This is the secret to thinking in English. You must study with triggers. Basically, give your brain more things to connect to. And this extends past just simply one-word triggers. You must also look for situation and emotional triggers in order to think in English. Okay, let's test out this theory really quickly. Does the English word for this image come to mind? Or do you only know what it is called in your own language? Well, in English, this is called a tractor. One more time, a tractor. So now, this image is a trigger for you to think of the word tractor in English. Ready for your test? Here we go. Did you get it? Once you saw the trigger, did you think about what it was in English? You did, right? Great job! Now, let's see if this really works with situational triggers. So, in this image, we see two tractors that look like they were in an accident. But we need an English expression or phrase that we can use so that we can think about this situation in English. The English expression is plowed into. One more time. Plowed into. The tractor plowed into the other tractor. Now, this image has become a trigger for a thought in English. Ready, set, go. Nice job. See, you just thought in English. Finally, let's check out emotional triggers that will help you think in English. In this image, we see someone who is injured, and they are probably feeling lots of pain. So, how can we describe this emotion or feeling? We can use my whole body aches. One more time. My whole body aches. After the accident, my whole body was aching. Now, this image has become an emotional trigger for a thought in English. Tractor, plowed into. My whole body aches. Let's do it. Here we go. My whole body aches. Tractor, cat, dog, plowed into, water, apple, banana. Now start thinking in English. Remember to subscribe.
We're doing it again, building your skill to think in English so you can join the conversation with confidence, stop translating in your head, and be more effective in communication. If you feel like it takes too long to express yourself in English or you feel nervous speaking English, this video is for you. Thinking in English and getting your mind to go to English quickly is a skill you can build on. In today's video, we're working with flashcards to focus on words. We're going to do nouns, verbs, and adjectives. And we're going to build the English image association, skipping your native language. There might be some words you don't know. Great, then you get to learn new vocabulary too. As always, if you like this video or you learned something new, please like and subscribe with notifications. It really helps. In doing this, we want to use words you already know. Learning vocabulary is different. This is a skill where we're building the skill to think in English first, building those pathways in your brain. So hopefully, many of these words will be words that you already know. Before you start the exercise, say to your brain, we're going to think only in English. You'll see a prompt and you'll think the word. If you want to say it out loud, go ahead. If you don't know the word, don't worry. We're going to go over everything at the end of the video. First, you'll see a picture with different sections highlighted like this. And when you see it, you'll think in your head, wing. Then something else will be highlighted, and each time you see a different highlight, think the English word. If you don't know it, don't worry, just wait for the next one. Let's keep going with that image. Then you'll see this. And you'll have 3 seconds to come up with a verb to describe anything that's happening in the picture. Any verb, any action that's happening. And then you'll see this. And you'll have 3 seconds to name an adjective. An adverb would be fine too. Then at the end, we'll go over everything like this. Wing, beak, claw, or maybe you just said foot. Flying or landing. white, or maybe you said graceful. I'll suggest verbs and adjectives that you could have said, but of course you may have come up with something totally different from what I say, and that's okay. There are no wrong answers here if what you're saying describes anything that's happening in the picture. Now, if you saw that image and you said something like drinking Coke, then that doesn't actually describe what's happening, but hey, if your mind said that in English, that's something. We're going to move pretty quickly, so just relax, open up your mind, and let the English come in. Remember, you want to direct your mind to go to the English word first. You should know most of these words already. We're building the skill of recall. We're going to do a bunch of pictures, and then we'll go over all the words. Okay, we're halfway through and I'm checking in on you. How are you doing? Is it fun? Stressful? Let's take a minute to reset our minds, clear it out, think English only, keep going. Great. Were the verbs and adjectives harder? It was less about naming something you see and more about making a decision about what to say. That's definitely a little bit more challenging. Let's go over some possible answers now. Knees, hair, grill. Did you know this part of the car is called a grill? I didn't know that until I was older, probably high school. I have a whole video that goes over vocabulary for the car. I'll link to it at the end of the video. Windshield. Notice here the D comes after an N before another consonant sound. It's very common to drop that D sound, and I did. Windshield. Windshield. Laying, chatting. Maybe you said laughing. Friendly. Wait, what happened there? Again, the D comes after an N before a consonant. Very common to drop that D. I didn't say friendly, but there's no D, friendly. Or maybe you said dirty, talking about the truck, old. Or maybe happy, talking about the girls. Swimsuit. Maybe you said swim trunks or just trunks. Or maybe you said shorts. Rock. Bowl. Or maybe you said container. Splashing. Covering. Playing. Fun. Playful. Or maybe you hate being splashed, so the word you thought was mean. Bench. Hat, book, ear, finger. We call this smallest finger the pinky. Laughing, reading. Sunny, happy. Masks, scrubs. We call this kind of clothing, which you'll see a lot on doctors, nurses, dentists, and veterinarians, scrubs. There was a TV show in the US called Scrubs that ran in the 2000s. Light switch, mirror, tray, cleaning, fixing, working, focused, or maybe you said blue or yellow, describing a color in the photo, or scared because maybe you hate going to the dentist. Laptop, or maybe you said computer. Braid, or maybe you just said hair. Hair tie. We're getting detailed here. These are also called elastics. Stripes. This pattern is called stripes. Or maybe you said shoulder, since that's the part of the shirt that I circled. Playing, pointing, winning. Maybe you said cheering. Excited, elated. Vest. This article of clothing is called a vest. I have a whole video that goes over vocabulary words for clothing. I'll link to it at the end of this video. Bubble. Sleeve. This part of the shirt is called the sleeve. Or maybe you said arm, since that's the body part that goes in the sleeve. Zipper. Polka dots. This pattern is called polka dots, with a silent L. Blowing, playing, trying, concentrating. Young, engaged. We use the word engaged to describe committing to marry someone, but we also use it to mean engrossed in something, really concentrated in it, paying full attention. Quartet. When I drew this, I was thinking quartet, but maybe you said men or players or musicians. Violin. Viola. This instrument that's a little bigger than a violin is called a viola. Cello. Bow. There's another word spelled the same way but pronounced bow with the ow diphthong. That's something that a performer might do at the end of a concert. Performers will bow during the audience applause. Stand or music stand. Column. This word has a silent N at the end. Smiling, formal. Musical, coordinated. Watch. Belt. Collar. Lapel. Tie. This can be called a jacket or blazer. Handshake. Again, the D after an N before a consonant, that D will usually be dropped. Handshake, no D sound. Shaking hands, making a deal, agreeing, committing. professional, pleased. Teddy bear, tablecloth, or maybe you said lace since that's what it's made of, or table since that's what it's covering. Balloon, cake. Celebrating, playing, pink, silly. Gloves, or maybe you said hands. Again, D after an N before a consonant in the word hands. We usually won't say that D sound. Hands. Apron, scissors, spatula. Notice the letter T here makes a CH sound. I think a lot of people would probably misspell this word putting in a CH. Spatula. Cooking, working, making, preparing, grilling. Korean, tasty. Luggage, or maybe you said suitcase. Umbrella. Sign or menu. Waiter or server. Eating, dining, talking, working. Busy, full, crowded, hungry. Or if you're describing the two umbrellas, maybe you thought open and closed. The more you do this kind of thing, where you walk into a room or look at a picture and try to describe everything in English in your head, the quicker you'll be able to think in English when you're in a conversation. You're just simply training your brain to use English for thoughts. You can do this by doing some every day. I challenge you, every day this week, pick a photo. One you see in the newspaper or on social media. Try to name as many objects as you can, then choose a verb or an adjective to further describe what you see.